So here is your first look at a retail and fake pair of the Nike medium olive Dunks. Can you tell any difference between these two? Because they're pretty close. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I have a comparison for you between two pairs of Nike Dunks. Today we have the medium olive Nike Dunk, and this is the retail one on the right and the fake ones on the left. And this is just a comparison to help you if you're trying to purchase a retail pair. So unfortunately the box for the retail pair got a little bit damaged in transport, but other than that we'll be comparing the few details between the two pairs and showing you what to look for if you're trying to purchase the retail one. So we'll start with the boxes first. So other than the damage, if you take a look from above, you can actually see there is a slight color difference between the two boxes. Although they both look red, and from first glance you wouldn't really be able to tell, but if you look closely, and especially in studio lighting, you can see it is actually a different color of red between the two boxes. And I hope this shows up clearly on the camera, because it's quite easy to see in person. Then if we spin the boxes around to the side and take a closer look at the label, you can see clear differences between the two. So the medium olive is actually a women's colorway. So you can see on the retail one, it says it's 11.5 US women's sizing, which is in terms a UK 9. And then if you look at the fake one, you can see they've gone for US 10 men's sizing, which is a UK 9 obviously, but because this is a women's colorway, it should have the women's label on the side. Here you can also see it has the retail purchase label from the store itself. You can also see the color of the side label is a little bit different and looks a little bit more faded on the retail one compared to the fake one. But just take a closer look at the sizing differences. For certain Dunk colorways, there are women's exclusive like this pair, so it should have the women's label on the side. But nobody really wants me to talk about the boxes for the entire time, so we'll open them up and take a closer look at the shoes. Let's open up the fake one first. As you can see, the shoes are completely exposed. It does have paper, but it's lying flat on the bottom of the box. And it also comes with this extra information form, which is in Chinese, I believe. So I can't actually read it, but it comes with that. Then we'll open up the retail. Wow, they actually stink of glue. I can just smell that as I open the box there. They really smell bad of glue. They open up the retail one, you can see paper covers it up. It's really annoying how the box is damaged, but other than that, open up the paper, and there's the shoes as well. So we'll take them out and do a side-by-side comparison. So as I've taken the shoes out of the box, it's actually noticeable that the paper is very different between the two. On the fake one, the paper is incredibly thick compared to the retail one. On the retail one, it's a really thin, flimsy, crinkly paper. Whereas on the fake one, it's a much thicker, almost like a double-sided piece of paper. Double-sided? Double thickness piece of paper. So here is your first look at a retail and fake pair of the Nike medium olive Dunks. Can you tell any difference between these two? Because they're pretty close. So the first difference to note is actually something you can't see but more feel. So I'll show you to the camera. The toe box area, I would actually say the fake leather towards the toe box is incredibly thin compared to the retail one. The retail one has a much thicker feel to it. So as I push down on both, you can see that the fake one compresses much more easily underneath the pressure on my finger. The next minor difference I'm going to point out actually occurs on the Nike label on the tongue. And if I give you a close-up of this, you can see that the label size is different from retail to fake. On the retail one, you can see there's a much larger gap between the top of the Nike logo and the top of the label. Whereas on the fake one, you can pretty much see that the Nike logo itself is almost at the top of the label as it folds over. So there is a difference in sizing and placement of the two labels on the tongue. Also, if you spin the label upside down, there's a very clear difference between the two. So on the retail one, you can see it says made in Indonesia. I don't know if they're outsourcing to different factories just to try different cheaper materials to make more of a profit on these, or if they have another reason for this. But then on the fake one, you can see it says made in Vietnam. So there is a difference in the manufacturer. I don't know if they produce from both factories, but it's just a telltale difference between the retail and fake that I have in my hand. That the retail one says made in Indonesia, so it's a little bit different. So just check your pair to see what yours says. So when you get your pair in hand, the first thing you should do is check for any markings all over the shoe. And if I show you the fake one here, if you look down on the white tongue, you can see it has blue linings of where they've marked where to put stitching or cut different parts of the material. This should not occur on the retail one. And if you look all over the retail one, there is no blue lines or any markings at all. And if you can't see anything at first glance, I'd recommend getting a black light torch and shining it all over the shoe to see if you can see any markings of where fake factories have used to cut the materials. The next difference I'm going to point out is from above, and if you take a closer look at the laces. So when looking at them side by side in studio lighting, you can see that the retail laces are actually a lighter olive color compared to the fake one. On the fake one, I would say it matches up with the olive panels of leather, whereas on the retail one, there is actually a slight difference in colour, with the laces being a slightly lighter shade compared to the leather itself. Now spinning the shoe to the side, and we take a look at this swoosh logo on the side here, you can see it does have some white stitching going across it. However, from the retail to fake, you can see a big difference. On the retail one, you can see the stitching is very minor, and there's actually 6 loopholes going across the swoosh, whereas if you look at the fake one, you can see there is only 5 stitching loopholes going across, and the white stitching is much bolder on the fake one compared to the retail one, and this is a telltale sign, and it's quite easy to spot when you have both pairs in hand, and it's actually quite easy to spot if you just had one pair in hand. So just take a closer look at this. So just like on the outer side swoosh, the same difference occurs on the inner side, so just take a closer look here and you can see the difference between the two. So the next difference I'm going to point out actually occurs inside the shoe. So if you take a look from the back, you can see it does have this sock liner material, but there is a colour difference between the retail and fake. On the retail one, this sock liner material is actually a slightly lighter olive green compared to the fake one. Once again, the fake one is pretty much matched it to that leather panels on the outside, whereas on the retail one, you can see there is a slight colour difference between the two pairs. Spinning the shoes upside down and taking a look at the tread, you can see it does have a Nike logo in the middle here. If you take a look at the R symbols on either side of this Nike logo, you can see it's very different from retail to fake. So on the retail one, you can see these R logos are much more visible and bolder than they are on the fake one. However, with a few wears, this will be pretty hard to tell because these are going to get pretty messed up. Another difference between the two pairs is on the fake one, it comes with a massive amount of shoe paper on the inside, whereas on the retail one, they didn't actually provide any at all. There's no shoe tree or anything like that on the inside. So the final difference I'm going to point out is actually on the left shoe. If we spin the shoes around to the back and take a look at the stitching going around the olive panels. Here you can see the stitching colour is very different from retail to fake. So if I give you a close-up of this, you can see the stitching colour varies between the two pairs. So on the retail one, the stitching is actually a much lighter green than it is on the fake one. On the fake one, you can see they use a much darker stitching material than the retail one. So as you can see from this comparison, these dunks are getting incredibly close, and this is probably one of the closest ones I've ever done. So there's only a few minor details to note. So I hope this video has helped you if you are trying to purchase an authentic pair for Christmas. But thank you for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.